News is a little news isn't, doesn't flow as much. Not a lot of news out there. Right. I always try to make it interesting during the summer times. We have 5 items on the list. No, I want to say lead story, but we will start with an article from Polygon that I thought was super interesting that we could sort of, talk about. And that is the organizers of E3 and Summer Games Fest are gearing up for a head-on collision or clash, as the article said. And I thought this was super interesting because I didn't think about it that way. E3 did, E3, we didn't have it this year. They announced they will be back next year. Jeff Keighley, not aligned with the ESA anymore, not, doing post shows with E3, doing his own thing.
Yeah.
And it's always weird to talk about E3 because a lot of the companies, the heads of companies, like Phil Spencer, I take as an example, is on the board of the ESA, right? They don't run E3, or they don't run the ESA, I should say, but they're on the board. They can nominate the people who do run it.
Well, they're making decisions, Well,
they're making decisions on the people who run the company, like Jeff Keighley, Jeff Keighley, Reggie. Reggie was on the board of GameStop. He didn't run GameStop, but the board members, they make decisions. They make the decision of who's going to run GameStop.
Sure. So they're choosing the right person to make the right decisions, right? They're installing somebody in there.
Thank God we are the board members. Rated G.
And a little behind the scenes over here, yeah.
And we installed ourselves.
That's right. We make it real easy. Very short boardroom meetings. Do they make any decisions, or is it all just personnel based?
It's mostly they're there. Like a board member is there to do checks and balances for the people who run the show, run the company on behalf of the shareholder.
Right. So if a CEO does some crazy stuff and they're acting a fool and they're bad for the company, they're going to go, this guy needs to go, right?
I'll give you real life events. I'm not going to talk about if it's right or wrong. I'm not going to go in if it's right or wrong or anything.
Okay. Just give me the facts.
Current events. Vince McMahon
was
the CEO. The CEO of WWE, right? He was pending an investigation. He's stepping down as CEO, right? Because he didn't want to get voted out by the board members, which he is also a board member, by the way. He's also a board member. And there are other CEOs of other companies who are board members of WWE. Right. I forgot the guy's name, but he's the CEO of PetSmart, right? He's on the board of WWE.
Sure.
So they make the decision on who's going to run the company on behalf of the shareholder.
Right.
So
it was going to be Triple H, but Triple H is sick now.
No, it was never going to be Triple H. Stephanie McMahon actually left the company a month ago, stepped down from her role because her Triple H was sick. And
but wasn't he being groomed to be that guy? No.
He was running NXT, which when he obviously had heart problems and had to retire because of his heart problem.
Right.
Vince stepped in to run NXT, and it's been terrible.
Well,
I'm not going to get into that because I can keep going on for
so hour. Then just one
NXT
more question: Who was
2.0 is terrible?
Who was meant to be a successor then?
There was no actual successor name. So
but I figured there was somebody he was grooming. All right, maybe not. Maybe I'm getting my facts wrong.
The board members would have picked the next CEO, which they have picked Stephanie McMahon, his daughter, to be the interim CEO until pending the investigation.
Right. I guess that's not going to last very long because she's married to Triple H, so they're all family.
Triple H is back. No, the board. She stepped away.
To take care of him. Yeah.
To help take care of him. So she was gone. I mean, there were reports that she was terrible at her job, some type of marketing executive.
Sure.
But so it was kind of surprising that they voted her to be the interim CEO in in the meantime. So,
right.
Which a little bit. But my point is, all these game companies. Phil Spencer is on the board of the ESA.
Right.
Right. That runs E3, but he doesn't run E3. Right.
Right.
Particular. So to see the head clash, competition is king. Right. In my eyes, WWF became better when WCW was kicking their ass in the ratings.
Right, because you have to elevate or you die. Right, if you can't be on par or beat your competition, you're gone. So you gotta really step up.
So it's going to be interesting to see. Like the ESA, like the E3, like you got to have a booth. You don't necessarily have to have a press conference, as Microsoft has shown that they had a press conference outside of E3. Across the street, but still had a booth for people to play their games at. Sony has completely left, right?
Yep.
So
Nintendo does their own thing, even though it happens.
Does their own thing, but they do have a booth at E3.
Sure.
So
sure.
Historically, at least, Jeff Keighley doesn't have a. He doesn't. At least in the last 2 or 3 Summer Game Fest, I guess he's still trying to figure out what Summer Games Fest is, because he doesn't have a physical presence.
Yeah.
So people can't actually get their hands on games through his system. So, it would be interesting to see how this plays out next year, right? Where, as we get out of the zombie apocalypse, right? We're not quite there yet, but we're getting there, right? You can travel now without having to take a test to get in certain countries like America. So we'll see how it goes next year with the head-to-head. Whoever has the biggest, I'll just say this: whoever has the biggest announcements, I don't want to say wins, but gets that market share, get that mind share. Like, oh yeah, Summer Games Fest was great. We saw the new Halo game, we saw the new God of War game, we saw the new Mario game, right? Because Jeff Keighley, it was at Jeff Keighley's show. But if it's at E3. Still will be dominant. Depends on where the big announcements go.
Well, I'll say this. So there is some physical event, but it's media only next year for Summer Game Fest. Limited. I'm sure it'll be a small affair. I'm assuming it'll be in a theater, right? Maybe there's some booths set up. I don't know. We'll see what that is. You can do the IMAX thing, which we talked about, right? You could go to a theater and see it streaming if you want to, which, could be cool in a way. But you're right. I mean, the victor is the one that has the best showing. But to me, I don't care who does it. I don't care if it's Keighley. I don't care if it's the E3. I don't care who it is, as long as I get to see the games, right? And I don't want to say it's better now, but it's made it so that anybody can put together a little package and throw it up on YouTube, stream it, and here's the games, right? And they can do that just with their production budget. There's no $100,000 fee for stage presence or whatever else.
True.
That's like kind of a benefit to it. So I don't really care where the games get shown. It's going to be interesting to have these two. I think it's basically going to be a split.
I don't think it'll be the same. I don't think it'll be the same actual time. I don't think they'll be happening at the time.
Yeah, it'll probably be like a couple weeks
one
away,
after
maybe.
Another.
Yeah,
I think it'll be like a week after.
Yeah,
if it's head to head, if it's head to head at the same time. Oh my God, that's.
I mean, they certainly could.
How that works.
They certainly could, but then you really have to have the better games, because you won't get in the news cycle if it's like, yeah, here's our new
if
Minecraft DLC expansion that's only like a couple of cow skins or whatever, right? You got to have some legit stuff.
If E3 has the new Zelda game, or the new Gears of War, or the new Last of Us Part 3, and Jeff Keighley is showing nothing but indie game, at the same time, you're talking about at the same time, then yeah, you're correct.
No. You wouldn't.
I think they need to be spread out.
No, because if you do it a week out, then you get the next news cycle, no matter what. Even if it's good or bad, people are going to talk about it at least. So yeah, you wouldn't want to do that head to head.
And I don't think they will for this reason. I think Jeff Keighley will get a little bit from everybody. He'll get a little bit from Nintendo. He'll get a little bit from Microsoft. He'll get a little bit from Sony. And if Microsoft is at E3, they're not going to want to have whatever they give Jeff Keighley overshadowed, or buried, I should say. They're going to want to have it like, okay, we're giving you maybe not our top tier game, but like a big title for us, right?
Well,
maybe not Halo, but maybe a smaller title, but still big because it's a first party title, or gameplay from a title that we announced at our showcase. We want eyes on it. We want market share. So it's not going to be at the same time as E3. It would be the week after. So
here's the other question: who gets the new Hideo Kojima game trailer?
Oh,
right. Come on, because Keighley and Kojima are like this, especially and now Phil Spencer and Kojima, because they're basically, I don't want to say funding, but they're providing a lot of the technical hardware and software to like make his game work. Like it's dependent on the cloud.
So this is what's going to happen. What's going to happen? They're going to announce the game at their E3 press conference. Okay.
At who's? At Microsoft's
E3. Yeah. Microsoft's E3 press conference.
Okay.
They're going to announce the game, and then you can see gameplay at Jeff Keighley's.
There you go. That's the answer I didn't want to hear. No, that's the
answer. That's what's going to happen.
I want to see blood. I want to see blood in the streets. I need to see somebody come out with the head of the game and go, "This is the trailer." It's going to be great.
Death Stranding. We're going to see Death Stranding 2, just the logo with Kojima and Phil Spencer on stage. Okay, and then at Summer Games Fest, we're going to see the actual gameplay of
there you go,
Sam Porter Bridges and the FedEx truck. Because FedEx is going to sponsor the game. We're gonna see the FedEx truck.
Well then, right. Jeff Keighley wins. There you go. He wins because I want to see gameplay above anything else.
I'm interested. I can't wait to see how this plays out next year. I will say the only people who win are gamers, because again, to me, video games are different than any other type of media. The music, movies, people. I hate when people say, "Hey, we know what movie's going to be made." It's different when it's games. Games needs that pop and circum. We need that hype train. That's what E3 is. That's what Summer Games Fest was supposed to be in lieu of E3 when we didn't have it. So we're gonna have both of them now. I can't wait. I can't wait. And you know who's gonna get? You know who also wins? Indie developer.
Yeah.
Indie developer.
That's right. They get exposure.
They're gonna get exposure because you got to pad it out. You got to have other games. Right? You got to have other things to talk about, and Jeff Keighley is going to be the perfect place where you may get overshadowed by the bigger name games, and Jeff Keighley will have a sprinkle of big name games, and they will bring more eyes to those indie games that he's going to showcase.
Yeah,